Have you seen Nicki Minaj losing her mind?
She's beefed with every female artist.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, her beef with Jay-Z is personal because there's money involved.
Police raids, secret deals, a billionaire empire under siege. Beyoncé's words ignite allegations that Jay-Z hid power, money, and silence behind closed doors, while Nicki Minaj explodes the truth.
This isn't gossip.
It's a chain reaction shaking music, politics, and the Carters' legacy right now. And the internet can't look away. The money, the betrayal, and the explosion. Now, before we even get into any of this, before we even scratch the surface of what is going on right now, I need every single one of y'all to understand something very, very important. This whole situation between Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z, this whole thing that has the entire internet going absolutely crazy right now. This did not just pop up overnight. This did not just come out of nowhere. This is not some random Twitter beef that started because somebody said the wrong thing on a Tuesday afternoon. No, what we are looking at right now is something that has been brewing underneath the surface for years and years and years. We are talking about broken promises. We are talking about tens of millions of dollars. We are talking about power, control, influence, and the kind of betrayal that cuts so deep it changes the way you see an entire industry. And when I tell you that the lid finally blew off this thing, I mean it blew off in a way that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, saw coming. Not the fans, not the industry executives, not the bloggers, not even the people who thought they had inside information about what was really happening behind closed doors. So I need you to sit tight, get comfortable, because this story has more layers than a 7-tier wedding cake, and we're going to peel back every single one of them together. Let's start from the very beginning. Let's rewind the clock all the way back to around 2015. That was the year Jay-Z decided he was going to do something that had never been done before in the history of the music business. He had this grand, ambitious, almost revolutionary vision. He was going to build a music streaming platform that would be owned by the artists themselves. A platform where the people who actually create the music, the people who pour their hearts and souls into every lyric and every beat would finally get paid what they truly deserved instead of getting pennies on the dollar from these big corporate streaming services. And the name of that platform was Tidal. Now, when Tidal launched, it wasn't just Jay-Z standing up there at that press conference by himself looking all serious. Oh no. He brought out the biggest names in the entire music business to stand right there beside him. We're talking about Madonna. We're talking about Dave Punk. We're talking about Kanye West. We're talking about Beyoncé. We're talking about Nicki Minaj. All of these absolutely massive global superstars were standing shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, walking out together in front of the cameras like they were about to change the entire world and rewrite the rules of the music industry forever.
Get a disrespect. Have you seen Nicki Minaj losing her mind?
She's beefed with every female artist.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, her beef with Jay-Z is personal because there's money involved.
Yeah.
So
that's different.
And we haven't heard too many people talk out about it, but apparently, like, what Nicki is alleging is that Jay-Z owes her tens of millions of dollars simply because when she had that exclusive deal with.
Now, I need y'all to think about that for a second. Really think about it. Let it sink in. Every single one of those artists who stood up there on that stage and put their name, their face, their brand, and their entire reputation on the line for Tidal was supposedly promised a stake in the company. We are talking about roughly 3% ownership each. Now, 3% might not sound like a whole lot when you just say it out loud real quick like that. 3%, that's nothing, right?
Wrong.
That is dead wrong. Because when you start doing the math, when you start actually running those numbers and calculating what 3% of a company worth hundreds of millions of dollars actually looks like, you realize very quickly that we are talking about an absolutely massive life-altering amount of money. We are talking about potentially $30 million or even more than that. That is not pocket change. That is not bonus money. That is generational dynasty building. Set your grandchildren up for life type of wealth. But here's where the whole beautiful dream starts to fall apart and crumble into dust. Tidal, for all the hype and all the celebrity endorsements and all the fancy press conferences and all the big promises about changing the game, did not take off the way everybody expected it to. The platform struggled to compete with Spotify and Apple Music. It couldn't gain the traction it needed. It flopped, and eventually, after all that effort and all those promises, Jay-Z sold it. But according to what Nicki Minaj has been alleging, when that sale finally went through, The artists who were promised their rightful piece of the pie, the artists who stood up there and put their credibility on the line, never got paid what they were owed. Nicki claims that Jay-Z owes her tens of millions of dollars, tens of millions. And when somebody owes you that kind of money, let me tell you something, that is not just a little disagreement you can talk out over dinner. That is not just a minor business dispute that gets settled with a handshake. That is personal. That is deeply, profoundly, fundamentally personal. And that is exactly why Nicki Minaj has been going so hard. And she did not keep quiet about it. Not even a little bit. She has been vocal. She has been loud. She has been aggressive. She has been relentless. And when Nicki Minaj decides she is going to go to war with somebody, she does not tiptoe around. She does not sugarcoat. She does not hold anything back. She went on a whole entire public rant where she listed out every single thing she believes Jay-Z has ruined. And the list, let me tell you, the list was long.
She said, dear hashtag Jay-Z, you ruined hip-hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter. The jig is up. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. And she also is saying, she's mentioning Desiree, who is one of Jay-Z's.
You might as well say Jay-Z's the head of Doge. Jay-Z invaded Gaza. You might as well just come on, add some more to that, Nicki. Don't stop there.
Yeah, she says, there's a lot here, man.
Jay-Z's the reason for processed foods. Okay, he's the reason that there's artificial dyes in the candy. What else?
The jig is up, yo.
She went after everything. She blamed him for ruining hip-hop. She blamed him for ruining football. She blamed him for ruining basketball. She even blamed him for ruining social media. And she didn't stop there. She also went after the fact that Lil Wayne, who was born and raised in New Orleans, a son of that city, should have been the performer at the Super Bowl when it was held in his own hometown. And since Jay-Z has his massive partnership with the NFL through Roc Nation, the entertainment and sports management company he built, Nicki put that blame squarely and directly on Jay-Z's shoulders. She felt like Jay-Z used his power, his connections, and his influence to block Lil Wayne from performing on one of the biggest stages in the entire world, in his own city, in front of his own people. That is the kind of accusation that doesn't just sting. That is the kind of accusation that burns. But here's the thing that really takes this whole situation and makes it 10 times, maybe even 100 times more explosive than it already was. Nicki's beef with Jay-Z didn't just stay contained in the lane of money and broken business deals and unpaid royalties. Oh no, it spiraled outward into something much, much bigger. Something that would shake the entertainment world and the political world at the exact same time. Because right around the same time all of this title drama was boiling over, Nicki Minaj did something that absolutely nobody on this planet expected her to do. She made a hard, sharp, dramatic political turn that shocked the entire entertainment industry and split her legendary fan base right down the middle like a log getting hit with an axe. The MAGA turn that broke the internet. Now, if part one of the story was all about money and broken promises and business deals gone wrong, then part two is about something even more explosive and even more controversial. Because what Nicki Minaj did next just create little waves in the music industry. It didn't just make a few people raise their eyebrows. What she did created a full-blown Category 5 tsunami that reached all the way from the streets of Hollywood to the halls of Washington, D.C., and all the way back again. And absolutely nobody was prepared for the impact. Starting in late 2025, Nicki Minaj began publicly and unapologetically aligning herself with President Donald Trump. And this was not some casual mention in a magazine interview. This was not some offhand comment that got taken out of context. No, no, no. This was a full all-in, no-holds-barred, no-turning-back endorsement that left people's jaws on the floor. On December 21st, 2025, she made a surprise appearance at Turning Point USA's annual America Fest convention, which is one of the biggest conservative gatherings in the entire country. She got up on that stage in front of thousands of conservatives and started talking about religious freedom and Christian beliefs and the importance of expressing your faith without being persecuted for it. She praised Trump and Vice President J. Dance as role models for young men. And then she made comments about gender issues, saying things like, "Boys be boys. It's okay to be boys. There's nothing wrong with being a boy."
How about that?
And that one statement alone set off a firestorm among her LGBTQ+ fans, many of whom felt those words were dismissive and hurtful toward transgender experiences. But she was just getting started. She wasn't even close to being done. On January 28, 2026, Nicki Minaj showed up at the U.S. Treasury Department's Trump Account Summit in Washington, D.C. She walked out on that stage in front of cameras from every major news network in the country, stood next to the President of the United States, declared herself probably the president's #1 fan, and then pledged to donate between $150,000 and $300,000 to Trump accounts, a new tax advantage savings program for children. She looked directly into those cameras and told everybody watching that all the backlash, all the hate, all the criticism people were throwing at her didn't bother her one single bit. In fact, she said the hate only made her want to support Trump even more. And then came the moment that truly, completely, and utterly broke the internet in half. She was photographed holding hands with Donald Trump on stage. That single image went absolutely everywhere. Every blog, every news site, every social media timeline on every platform in every country. It was inescapable. When people demanded to know why she was doing this, she sat down on the Katie Miller podcast and explained that her support came from a place of empathy and personal connection. She said she related to the bullying and the smear campaigns that Trump went through during his presidential campaigns because she experienced that same kind of treatment throughout her own career in the music industry. She made it clear that this wasn't about any specific policy or platform position. This was about standing up for someone she felt was being treated unfairly by the media and by the political establishment. She also received a Trump Gold Card, a symbolic gesture tied to a visa program for wealthy foreigners, and she boasted about it all over social media, celebrating what she said was progress on her citizenship paperwork. Born in Trinidad and Tobago, Nicki entered the United States as a child and has been a legal permanent resident for about 2 decades. Some people online immediately started questioning whether her political support was motivated by personal immigration benefits, though Nicki firmly denied that accusation. And then came the Grammys on February 1st, 2026. Nicki didn't attend. She hadn't set foot at the Grammy Awards since 2016, marking nearly a decade of boycott-like behavior. But this year, her absence was louder than anybody's presence because host Trevor Noah decided he was going to make jokes about her Trump affiliation during his opening monologue, joking that she was at the White House with Trump, discussing very important issues, and doing a whole impersonation of Trump complimenting her. The audience at the Grammys ate it up. They cheered, they laughed, they clapped. But Nicki was watching every single second of it from wherever she was, and she was not laughing. She was not clapping. She was loading up her phone and getting ready to go to war. What followed was one of the most explosive, unhinged, and talked about social media rants the entertainment world has ever witnessed. Nicki took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and went completely and totally off the rails. She called the Grammys a ritual that would backfire and accused Trevor Noah of participating in satanic practices. She went after Jay-Z. She went after Chrissy Teigen. She posted inflammatory claims that any Christian who votes Democrat again is a fool. She attacked California Governor Gavin Newsom over transgender policies, calling him newscom. She even went on a homophobic rant against journalist Don Lemon, calling for his arrest. It was an absolute avalanche of fury. And while she was sitting at home skipping the ceremony entirely, her social media presence was so overwhelmingly dominant that it generated nearly 96 million views on X during the event, completely dwarfing and embarrassing the Grammys' traditional TV viewership of around 14-16 million viewers. She wasn't at the show, but she was the show. The celebrity reactions came pouring in fast and furious from every direction. Amber Rose jumped out front to defend Nicki.
I don't think that she should be getting as much backlash as she
No,
is.
she should. We live in a free country. She has the right to her own political opinion, just like everyone else does.
A lot of people feel like because of her fan base being like largely, LGBTQ, that
She didn't say anything wrong. She didn't say anything about the LGBTQ plus community at all.
right, but her siding, kind of with the Trump administration, or
Well, what?
On the opposite side of the spectrum, MSNBC host Joy Reid harshly criticized Minaj as a house pet being paraded by Trump and MAGA to add black cultural appeal to the movement, accusing them of using her as blackface for political gain. Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas accused her of flat-out selling out. At the Grammys themselves, Billie Eilish indirectly contrasted Nicki by criticizing Trump's anti-immigrant policies, calling America stolen land. And the Barbs, Nicki's massive and historically loyal fan base, split completely apart. Reports showed she lost over 435,000 followers on X in just 6 days following her endorsement. Viral clips showed her music being booed in nightclubs. Some fans declared publicly that they were done with her forever and would never stream her music again. Others shocked everybody by saying they were leaving the Democratic Party entirely because of Nicki's influence. The division was total and complete. But through every single bit of it, every attack, every headline, every unfollowed account, Nicki Minaj never backed down. Not once, not even for a second. And the person she kept going back to over and over again in every rant and every tirade was Jay-Z. Because in Nicki's eyes, Jay-Z wasn't just some fellow rapper she had a disagreement with. He was the puppet master, the man behind the curtain, the one pulling the strings of an entire industry. And she was determined to make the whole world see it. The House of Carter under siege. Now, you might be sitting there thinking that Nicki Minaj was the only person out there giving Jay-Z and Beyoncé headaches and heartburn, but that could not be further from the truth. Not even close. Because while Nicki was going nuclear on social media and blasting Jay-Z's name across every timeline on the internet, there were multiple other serious controversies. Was quietly closing in on the Carter household from every possible direction at the same time. It was like watching a house get hit by a hurricane from the north, a tornado from the south, an earthquake from below, and a lightning storm from above, all at the exact same moment. The walls were closing in from everywhere. Let's start with the paternity lawsuit because this one goes way, way back. For over a decade, a man named Raymir Satwait, now 33 years old, has been claiming that Jay-Z is his biological father. He alleges that Jay-Z had a relationship with his late mother, Wanda Satwait, back in the early 1990s, and that he is the result of that relationship. And for years and years and years, Satwait and his godmother, a woman named Lily Cole, have been fighting tooth and nail through the legal system, trying to get Jay-Z to sit down and take a simple DNA test. They filed lawsuits in New Jersey state courts. Those got dismissed. They filed a federal lawsuit in May 2025. They accused Jay-Z of using his immense power and influence and money to block the case at every turn and evade testing. They even went so far as to claim that judges in New Jersey were colluding with Jay-Z to make sure the case never moved forward. Jay-Z's legal team responded by calling the entire thing fabricated and part of a decadescal-long harassment campaign designed to extort money from a famous person. The drama even spilled into Jay-Z's public appearances. In mid-2025, Satwait publicly demanded a DNA test during Jay-Z's appearance on Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter tour in Atlanta, where Jay-Z performed while the paternity drama played out in the background. Then on January 15, 2026, a federal judge finally dismissed Satwait's lawsuit with prejudice, which means it can never ever be filed again in any court in the country. The court even went a step further and ordered Cole to pay Jay-Z approximately $119,000 in legal fees under California's anti-SLAPP statute. Now, on paper, that looks like a clear, decisive, total victory for Jay-Z. Case closed, book shut, done deal, move along. But here's the thing, it kept nagging at people. The thing that kept the conversation alive, no matter what any judge had to say about it. If the claims are completely made up, if they are total fabrications, if there is zero truth to any of it, then why not just take the DNA test? One simple test, one cotton swab, 30 seconds, and the whole thing goes away forever. That question hung in the air like a storm cloud that refused to move. And it kept people talking regardless of the court's ruling. And then, as if the paternity lawsuit wasn't enough to deal with, along came Kanye West. Now, if you thought the Nicki Minaj situation was ugly and messy, what Kanye did was on a completely different stratosphere of disrespect. In March 2025, Kanye, now going by the name Ye, got on X and posted a series of absolutely vile rants targeting Jay-Z and Beyoncé's 7-year-old twins, Rumi and Sir. He used disgusting, derogatory language to question the children's mental capacity. He made repulsive comments about in vitro fertilization. He called Jay-Z and Beyoncé out of their names using language that cannot be repeated here. And on top of all that, he accused Jay-Z of pressuring him behind the scenes to delete the tweets, calling him out of his name for that, too. The reaction from people around the couple was immediate. It was fierce, and it was united. Beyoncé's father, Matthew Knowles, went on record in an interview defending his grandchildren, saying plainly and clearly, "People pay a price for being stupid, especially in the music industry." Those words carried weight because everybody knew exactly what he meant by that. You don't come for those kids and walk away without consequences. Suge Knight, of all people, went on a podcast and called Kanye a b for going after innocent children, saying he needed an old-fashioned hooping for crossing that line. Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mother, appeared to shade Kanye indirectly on Instagram with a post calling out corny behavior, which everybody and their grandmother interpreted as being directed straight at Ye. Now, here's the part that made the whole thing even worse, if that's even possible. Kanye did eventually issue an apology. Sort of. Kind of. Not really. On April 10th, 2025, he typed out on X, "I'm sorry, Jay-Z. I'd be feeling bad about my tweet, but I still feel I gave my life to this industry and thought so many people were my family. But when I needed family on some real, none of these rapped and had my back." That sounds like a halfway decent apology, right? Like maybe he was actually feeling some remorse. Well, less than an hour later, less than 60 minutes after writing those words, he completely and totally undermined everything by posting an absolutely vulgar and disgusting question about Beyoncé that we cannot even repeat here. That is not an apology. That is the exact opposite of an apology. That is pouring gasoline on a fire and then acting surprised when the whole building burns down. And if all of that still wasn't enough for the Carter household to deal with, the infamous 2014 elevator incident came roaring back into the spotlight with brand new information. Everybody remembers that one. The surveillance footage from the Standard Hotel in New York City that showed Solange Knowles, Beyoncé's younger sister, lunging at Jay-Z inside an elevator after Met Gala afterparty, shoving him into the corner, throwing punches and kicks while a bodyguard desperately tried to restrain her. And Beyoncé just stood there between them watching the whole thing unfold without saying a word. That footage was originally leaked by TMZ back on May 12th, 2014, and it absolutely took over the internet for weeks. Well, in December 2025, a fashion designer named Oscar G. Lopez came forward with brand new information about what actually started the fight. Lopez claimed that the whole altercation was triggered by a seemingly innocent compliment Jay-Z gave to designer Rachel Roy about her black lace gown on the Met Gala red carpet steps. According to Lopez, Solange saw that comment, took it completely the wrong way, and spent the rest of the evening getting more and more agitated until she was like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. This brand new revelation sent the internet into a complete and total frenzy all over again, with people going back and reanalyzing the original elevator footage frame by frame, looking for every tiny clue and detail they might have missed the first time. Jay-Z himself addressed the elevator situation years ago in his 2017 album 444. On the intro track Kill Jay-Z, he acknowledged that he and Solange only ever had one single disagreement in their entire relationship, and it just so happened to be the one that got caught on camera for the whole world to see. But that explanation was never enough to satisfy the public's curiosity. People wanted the audio from that elevator. People wanted the full, unedited story from everyone involved. And now, almost 12 years later, sources close to the situation were describing the couple as being haunted by the scandal, claiming that it still cast a dark cloud over their marriage to this very day. Through all of this chaos and controversy, through the Nicki beef and the title money dispute, through the decade-long paternity lawsuit, through Kanye's unforgivable attacks on their innocent children, through the elevator incident resurfacing with new details, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have remained largely silent. They have not issued public statements addressing most of these situations. They have kept their heads down and focused on their work, their family, and the legacy they have spent decades building together. And what a legacy it truly is. Because through all the noise and all the drama, let us never forget exactly who we are talking about here. Jay-Z went from the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, New York, one of the toughest neighborhoods in the entire city, to becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. He has won 25 Grammy Awards, the most by any rapper who has ever lived. He built Roc Nation from the ground up into a full-service entertainment and sports management empire. Beyoncé holds the record for the most Grammy wins of any artist in the history of the award with 35. She became the first Black woman to ever top the Billboard country chart. Together as a couple, they have over 60 Grammy Awards combined and a combined net worth that reaches into the billions of dollars. But even the mightiest empires face storms. Even the tallest buildings get shaken by earthquakes. And this particular storm, the one that is currently blowing in from every direction at the exact same time, might just be the biggest and most dangerous one the Carter family has ever had to weather in their entire lives.
What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate. It's the person I love, you know. And you can be in love with someone. You can love someone and you not. And if you haven't experienced love and you don't understand it and you don't have the tools to move forward, then you're gonna have complications, period. And if you can either address it or you can pretend until it blows up at some point. And, you know, for us, we chose to fight for our love, for our family, to give our kids a different out.
Whether these two titans of the entertainment industry can navigate through all of this noise, all of this chaos, and all of this controversy, and come out the other side stronger than ever before remains to be seen. But if history has taught us anything at all, it's that you should never ever under any circumstances count out the Carters because they have survived everything this industry has thrown at them so far. And something tells me they are not done fighting yet. Love this video? Click on the cards on your screen for